What's poppin'? How we doing? How we feeling? Good morning to me. I've got some coffee. So I decided to do myself this little favor, and I guess anyone who decides to join me on the Homestuck 2 journey and read the Homestuck recap that is on the Homestuck 2 webpage, which is very long. Meaning this is probably going to be two things, but let's hope not. Literally, I read the first sentence already, and I'm already like, what? I don't remember this being a thing. So here we go. Let's do this shit. Here's the prologue. Homestuck has finished. On Earth C, 10 years after the adventure began, John Egbert awakens from a traumatic anime dream. Okay, I read the first sentence, but I probably should have read the second one too, because I don't like that. Let me make sure this looks good. Yeah, we're good. We're fine. Rose Alon summons him to her home. She is gravely ill. Her awareness of her many alternate selves in other timelines is increasing beyond the capacity of her physical body. She is ascending towards her ultimate self, and it is terrible. Rose explains to John that the canon is predicated on three core principles: truth, relevance, and essentiality. I know what that word is, but I don't know how to say it. Essentiality. Let's go with essentiality, all right? She states that unless John travels back into canon and defeats Lord English, an event which is known to happen, the fundamental truth of their existence on Earth C will be undermined. Rose claims that this will lead to an effect that she terms dissipation, a retroactive, discreditation of everything that has transpired since their victory 7 years prior. She gives John a set of instructions for how to avert this effect and sends him on his way. Before leaving Earth C, John has a picnic with Roxy and Calliope. Gassy. He discusses his options with the two of them, and they suggest that John has a choice in the matter, that he could go to defeat Lord English and validate the canonical sequence of Earth events concretely, or he could alternatively choose to remain on Earth C and forego the final battle altogether. But first, Calliope offers John an apparently different choice. What will he eat for lunch? Meat or candy? I don't remember any of this bullshit. What? This must be why things are called beyond canon. Meat. Events from John's perspective. Upon making his choice, John is placated with the red meat, but only temporarily. His thoughts turn to Lord English and the various horrible crimes committed by him. John decides that he must leave Earthsea, return to canon, and kill Lord English, thereby completing the sequence of events necessary to prevent the canonical dissipation. He says farewell to Roxy and Calliope and makes his departure. Following Rose's instructions, John first travels to the Game Over timeline to the moment where Arania makes her attempt to appropriate the Ring of Life and doom everyone. He knocks her out and takes the ring, thereby diverting this timeline from the original sequence of events. John leaves Gamzee in the fridge where he belongs. This already sounds like a very good timeline. Now that this timeline has been splintered off from the canon, its residents are available for other purposes. As such, John now recruits the remaining kids as 16-year-olds for the final battle with Lord English. The 8 of them return to Earth A week before April 13th, 2009 to formulate their battle plans, and then it's showtime. John and the teens arrive at the site of Caliborn's masterpiece. Upon the delivery of a scathing assessment of young cherub's artistic prowess and a punchline long in the making, the final battle commences. A whole bunch of shit happens that we already saw, but not in the Plasticine this time. John, Rose, Dave, and Jade all end up stuck inside the house juju, where they remain until Vriska deploys it in several quadrillion years' time. John has an important revelation about his mental health in the meanwhile. When they emerge, the second final battle is already in progress. Calliope's black hole has swallowed the green sun and started to consume Paradox space, but the final blow to Lord English is yet to be inflicted. The kids join the fight alongside the army of the Dream Bubble ghosts, including Mina and Tavros. Things quickly turn for the dire. Rose is consumed in a beam of energy. Jade is fatally impaled on a shard of the void. Tavros is disintegrated, and Mina is seemingly thrown into the singularity. Wow. What? Okay. It may be because I haven't read Homestuck in 3 years, and it might be because I read those epilogues so long ago. But I don't remember a single detail of any of this shit happening. I remember that there was a final battle with Lord English with the Dream Bubble Ghosts, and Mina and Tavros, but that's the most I remember. I remember a bunch of ghosts getting fucking obliterated, like something that stuck to my foot. I don't know what that is. But this is ridiculous. Oh boy, I already read a name that I forgot that I existed. Only John and Dave remain. However, they are aided by the last minute by Dave Petta Sprite 2, who rescues John from being eaten by Lord English. Dave is not fortunate. I hate this sentence. Dave is not so fortunate, and is decapitated. In retaliation, Dave Petta impales Lord English on their claws and flies back into the black hole with him in tow. The fight is won, but at a terrible cost. John has been skewered by one of Lord English's teeth and begins to fall prey to the deadly venom. He loses consciousness. He is soon compelled to awaken by an external influence he cannot identify. John contemplates the inherent futility of his existence before coming across his dad's wallet modus and taking it with him. He finds Mina, not yet double dead, clinging to a server beacon. She steals the ring of life from him and makes her escape through the server. Man, like I said before, if you didn't read Homestuck, this is not for you. But if now is the time that anyone is trying to get into Homestuck and they're trying to do it through this, boy, is this not for you. Because holy shit, there are so many terms that I've said without hesitation that like I now kind of realize, like, if you haven't read all fucking 8,000 plus pages of Homestuck, are intensely confusing. Like dream bubble ghosts and double dead. Oh man, I don't even want to explain how that shit works. He then encounters Terezi, who has been searching for Vriska for an indeterminate amount of time and who is on the brink of starvation. John deploys the contents of his father's wallet. Terezi gorges herself on a hearty meal of pipe tobacco and shaving cream. John cannot help but to be smitten. Hey, don't do that. Is that even a ship? I don't like that. I don't like that ship. I like John and Vriska a lot. Not gonna lie to you. I like that ship a lot. The John Terezi, I guess it makes sense. No. For several days, the pair of them camp out in John's dad's spare car. Eventually, Terezi offers to remove the tooth still embedded in John's abdomen. He assents. That's a weird word. He assents, and she performs the impromptu surgery. In the heat of the moment, the two embrace passionately. Then they fuck in the back of the car, and that's all there's say. And that's really all there is to say on the matter. I guess you sure. John convinces Terezi to return to Earthsea with him, but when they arrive, our hero finally succumbs to Lord English's venom, which has the effect of corroding a person's canonical existence beyond any hope of revival. John Egbert dies in Terezi's arms, ostensibly for good. His story is at an end. Okay. Events on Earthsea. Meanwhile, on Earthsea, things have been getting political. Jane Crocker has decided to run for the presidency of Earth for the first time. One of the 12 players has attempted such a maneuver. There is a sinister pretext to her bid for power. This year is the first time that the new mother grub will be used to propagate the troll population on Earthsea, as proposed to simple cloning. Man, Earthsea sounds like a shithole. Because, like, you know. Wait. Mother Grub's still there? Oh, Lord. All right. Jane is running on a platform which many suspect could curtail the reproductive rights of the troll race on Earthsea, and which Karkat and Dave believe to be some real xenophobic bullshit. Dave also says that Jane's economic plans leave something to be desired. He convinces Karkat to campaign in position to her. Oh, holy shit. A Jane Karkat Oh, this is my presidential run. The two discuss the likely allegiances of their two remaining friends, who together comprise the most powerful and influential people on the planet. Kanaya, Rose, and Jade will likely be allies to their cause. Dirk, Jane's campaign manager is already Jane's campaign manager is already accounted for. Roxy and Calliope are neutral parties, and is Jake. English, who is the most successful celebrity figure of them all, will be the deciding factor in the election, with both sides furiously courting his endorsement. Once their plan is decided, Dave gets a call from his brother. I hate the way they phrase that, because English could either be Lord English or Jake English, and I don't know what the fuck anything is on RC. Dirk holds up a live episode of Rumble in the Pumpkin Patch, a rap battle robot wrestling hybrid which he co-hosts with Jake. In order to have a conversation, the crowd is not amused. After soliloquizing ominously to Dave for a while, Dirk hangs up and resumes the show. Jake proceeds to perform the worst rap in the history of Paradox Space. That sounds true. Dirk then tranquilizes him and ends the episode in order to field a call from Rose, who is contacting him to discuss her condition. Dirk reveals that he is already aware of his apparent secret, and moreover that he is suffering from the same sickness despite not showing any of the same symptoms. He invites Rose to his studio to discuss the matter further. So Dirk is also dying in this timeline. Sometime later, Dave, Karkat, and Jade discuss strategy. Things quickly take a turn for the uncomfortable, however, as Jade manages to turn the conversation to a subject on their three-way relationship dynamic. In particular, she focuses on the Dave and Karkat's feelings for each other. Dave and Karkat vehemently deny any romantic feelings, despite literally all evidence pointing to the contrary. This is true. This is why I shipped this for a while. Jade draws a shipping grid and leaves the fucking shipping grid. Christ. Shipping grid is one of my favorite moments in all of Homestuck. It's Karkat trying to trying to get people to understand how the different love quadrants work, and Dave being like, dude, you're drawing a fucking shipping... Dude, you're fucking weird. Jay draws a shipping grid and leaves the two of them to think about it. They pretend not to think about it very, very hard indeed. Those two useless scoundrels. Jane attempts to woo Jake to her campaign unsuccessfully. Not to be deterred, she invites him to her office, where she tries to seduce him physically as well politically. In the moment of intimacy, Jake's thoughts cannot help but turn to Dirk, however. He makes his excuses and leaves. Jane furiously rings her campaign manager, unaware that he is the reason for this unfortuitous development. Dirk offers the deal with Jake before hanging up quickly as Rose arrives. The two need to talk. Over the course of the conversation, Rose's condition deteriorates further before she loses consciousness. Dirk, who has secretly already come to his own as an ascended self, openly claims control of the narrative of Homestuck. The prince is awake, and our shit is wrecked. My phone rang from the other room, and that shit was loud. You probably heard it. Jake attempts to be persuaded by Roxy and Calliope to endorse Karkat's campaign, but they are unconvinced. Roxy is unwilling to go against such a close friend, and Callie is uncomfortable with taking sides. The two of them come out as non-binary, to Jade and Dirk's surprise. What the fuck am I reading? This seems like just a collection of events. Like, none of this seems tied together. These are the epilogues all over again, right? Just a collection of shit going on. Okay. At a moment circumstantially simultaneous with her alternate self's death in the furthest ring, Jade suddenly passes out. This alternate self, experiencing her last moments before the battle with Lord English, approaches the supermassive black hole which once was the green sun. She is beckoned forward by the voice of Calliope's god-tier self, who speaks in the narrative text in opposition to Dirk. He panics and quickly shifts their focus back to Earth. Dave and Karkat visit Kanaya in the brooding caverns and discuss the election. Kanaya reveals that Jane had already visited the caverns in an attempt to curry favor with the Troll Kingdom. Kanaya believes that while the Crocker's intentions may be good, her xenophobic beliefs about troll reproduction border on the fantastic and are too dangerous to be ignored. She agrees to aid Karkat's campaign and then attempts to phone Rose. Dirk picks up instead. Why is Jane xenophobic? I mean, Jane is one of the only characters that I like exclusively ship with the same species. So, like, I guess in my own head it makes sense too. I'm not even halfway through this. He rebuffs Kanaya's inquiries into her wife's death, hanging on to her in order to continue talking to Rose, who is now very weak. She is on the verge of ascension, her physical body barely able to contain her higher self. Oh, it's raining. So far, she has resisted the urge, but Dirk convinces her to fail to resist the urge. From this point on, he holds her physical body together with his powers until such time as he is able to deposit her soul into the vessel of his own construction. Teen Jade falls into the black hole. The dead cherub uses her as a beacon to gain access of the narrative. Now openly challenging Dirk's control, the two fights for supremacy as the adult Jake wakes up on Earth C, her newfound consciousness, and the battle are both short-lived, however, as the dead cherub takes possession of their body and the narrative in one fell swoop. The prince is, for the moment, outmatched. Jade returns from the campaign trail, where she has been using Trickster mode. I forgot about Trickster mode, the most cursed mode, where she has been using Trickster mode as a publicity strategy. Dirk warns her against overindulgence, and the two discuss the Jake stakes once again. Dirk says that he is working on a backup plan now that his influence has been curtailed somewhat. Meanwhile, Dave and Karkat successfully convince Jake to endorse their campaign, and Team Vantis organize a stadium in order to announce this fact. Things do not go according to plan. While Dave and Roxy discuss their queer experience at the rally, Dirk ascends the bell tower with Roxy's red sniper rifle in hand, apparently intending to assassinate or tranquilize Jake during his speech. Why? The dead cherub attempts to stop him through a narrative fiat, but is outwitted. Dirk, in fact, snipes Jade with the tranquilizer dart, which has the effect of ending the dead cherub's possession. Without Jade to act as her beacon, she is forced to relinquish narrative control to the prince. Back in the stadium, Jake declares his love for Dirk Strider and switches his endorsement at the last minute. The Ventus campaign collapses, and Jane coasts into office unopposed. This is fucking weird. A month passes. Jade remains comatose in a hospital during this time. Terezi, who has recently returned to Earth with John, meets Roxy outside. After the two catch up, Roxy departs. Dirk reveals that he and Rose will be leaving Earthsea momentarily and invites Terezi to join them. She brings John's capture log corpse with her. Rose and Dirk prepare for their departure. Dirk uses Kanaya's insecurities to manipulate her into accepting her wife's decision to leave, and simultaneously convincing Rose that Kanaya has no qualms in letting her go. Dirk leaves Kanaya with the antidote for the tranquilizer he used on Jade before making his way to Jake's mansion. This is awfully scummy of Dirk. Why? Kind of seems out of character. Don't get me wrong, this is all kind of shit he would do, but not like. But for like, what is the reason though? Because there would be like a clear ass reason. He'll be like, oh, we got it. Like, I got to take her out to do this. But like, she's ascending, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna mess with their relationship. All right. Once there, he requests the use of the fastest Skynet starship available. Jake, who is now completely and openly infatuated with Dirk, he always has been, and who believes that he will be coming along on this voyage, readily obliges. Dirk gives him the bad news. English will be staying behind with Jane, ready to serve as the father of countless generations of a new presidential dictatorship. He kisses Jake one last time, saying that they will never meet again. Oh. Back at Dave and Karkad's house, the two mourn their political careers. The commiseration session takes a turn for the personal, and they discuss their relationship. Subtly, and not so subtly, egged on by the impatient Dirk. The two of them affirm their friendship, but this time it's not enough. For once in his life, Dave takes the initiative. They kiss. Dave Cat is canon. Sure. I mean, I want that, but this seems a messy way to do it. It's Bumblebee all over again. Like, I wanted it, but y'all did it in the most roundabout, unnecessary way. Kanaya and Roxy visit Jade in the hospital, and Calliope, who is negatively affected by the presence of their dead alternate self, has since shut themselves in a home and begin religiously scrawling on the walls. Kanaya gives Jade the antidote. She wakes up. Jade, who is now somehow aware of Dirk's influence, declares that he must be stopped. Dirk agrees with her, claiming that his role as the villain of this story outright. Oh, he accepts the intrinsic He accepts the intrinsic antagonism of his narrative power and has decided to carry the antagonism to its natural conclusion. He states that his eventual death will be just. Kanaya realizes that the extent of Dirk's manipulation, but it is too late. He is already gone. The dead Shira presumes her possession of Jade and seizes the narrative once more. Though she has sworn neutrality, she points the remaining players in the direction of Dirk. Rose and Terezi have fled. Kanaya, Roxy, Dave, and Karkat resolve to give chase. Years later, we see Dirk, Rose, now in a robot body, and Terezi approach a new planet. The most important spur obsession in history of existence is about to unfold. That's a good place to end the first one, because I'm going to read the second half as a second one. But that seems to be where we are right now in Homestuck lore. So I'm going to cut out all the shit that I don't think matters. What happens? John eats some fucking meat and decides to go back in time and fight Lord English in order to create the canonical battle that's supposed to happen. And then fucking dies on Earth A, I will assume. Just months, maybe even the same day as Homestuck starts. I forgot the day. I forgot what Homestuck Day is, but it whatever. It's John's birthday. Defeats Lord English. Everyone dies, and then there's a political campaign, but that shit doesn't matter. Dirk and Jake are like officially in love, but Dirk has to leave because Rose is ascending as a seer into a higher plane of existence, meaning she's dying. So Dirk is taking her away out of the world, along with Terezi for whatever reason. And everyone hates them now. Dave Cat is canon. That's it. That's what matters. And that's where we pick up the story. I probably should have read this before reading the beginning of Homestuck 2. Because like that's where it starts, is like the three of them approaching a new planet. And here's what's cursed is that last sentence. The most important spur obsession in history, in the history of existence, is about to unfold. Meaning we're going to do it again. We're going to play another game of Spurb. Lord help me. We're going to create another fucking universe. Time for another 8,000 pages. This is a weird-ass epilogue, and I'm not even done, because there's another timeline to read about. All right, listen, all right? Let's read the Homestuck 2 recap part 2. Christ almighty.